first day of knowing Jesus in a new way. The women went to the tomb, and Jesus was made known to them in his absence. Jesus was made known to Thomas in his doubt. Jesus was made known to the two on their way to Emmaus and when they broke bread together. And now we remember how the disciples went north to Galilee as Jesus told them to do. It was a long journey, some 80 miles. It took about 4 days to walk. Many of them were fishermen, so they went to the Sea of Galilee to rest. This was a place they knew as boys. They had fished there with their fathers. Suddenly Peter stood up and said, "I'm going fishing." The rest went with him to prepare the boat. Soon they pushed out into the lake, and the sail filled with wind. They fished all night, but they caught nothing. Still, the sounds and the smells of the lake comforted them. They were home. In the morning, the sky turned pink and then blue. They could make out the shore and someone standing by a fire. They could see the smoke and the red glow from the charcoal burning. "Have you caught anything?" the person said. All they could say was no. And the person said, "Throw your nets in on the other side." What could they lose? They pulled in the empty nets and threw them out on the other side. They could feel the fish moving as they held the ropes. John was not paying attention to the fish. He leaned forward and watched the man moving on the shore. He said to Peter, "It is the Lord." Peter stood up. He jumped in and he swam. He felt the sand under his feet and he waded ashore. The others turned the boat toward the land. The nets were so full that they couldn't pull them in, so they dragged them behind the boat. As they walked toward the fire, the stranger called out, "Bring some fish." When they gathered around the fire, the stranger was no stranger at all. They all knew that it was Jesus, but they were afraid to say anything. "Have some breakfast." There were fish cooking on the fire. He gave them fish and bread, and they talked as they ate. The fish and the bread also tasted of home. Then Jesus asked Peter, "Do you love me?" "Yes, of course," Peter said. "Feed my lambs." Again he asked, "Do you love me?" Peter said, "Yes." "Tend my sheep." "Do you love me?" And again Peter said, "You already know that I do." And Jesus said, "Feed my sheep." Then he began to talk to Peter about growing old and about how you need help in your old age. Sometimes people tell you what to do, even if you don't want them to. Years later, they wondered if Jesus had been preparing Peter for his own death in Rome as an old man. Jesus said, "Follow me." Did he mean all of them? No. Peter got up, and the two of them walked along the shoreline. Peter looked back and saw John following them. "What about this man? Will he die like the rest of us?" "It is not for you to know such things." Peter fell silent, and Jesus was gone. And now we remember how the disciples gathered in Galilee. They gathered together and went to the mountain to meet Jesus. He was already there. It was good to see him, even in this new way. But what were they supposed to do now? Listen, he was talking again. What was that? All authority in heaven and on earth has been given to me. What was he talking about? Then he said something they could understand, but they did not want to hear it. He said, "Go everywhere, tell my story, even this part, to everyone. Show them how to be good disciples. Tell them the story so they can become part of it. Baptize them in the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Spirit." This was far to travel, too much to do. Then in their dismay they heard him say, "I am with you always to the end of the age." Then he was gone. What did he mean? As they walked back south to Jerusalem, they knew they had been followers, and now they were to be leaders. They had been sheep. Now they were to be shepherds. They had come home for the last time, and now they were to make a home for others.